Yellow pencil. Find it.
She's probably going to have to be medically worried out. She's having a problem. And probably just not going to be able to stick out the whole time. I think her husband will stick outside. Maybe hospitals in launch tour. I was stationed in a launch tour. These spots is where the big sports PX was, so
You sure you went there for the VX?
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Nikki Lobo. Welcome to our Veterans Day flag dedication. We are proud of every veteran who serves or has served for our country. We want to thank Woodmen of the World for the donation of the flag. Also, we would like to thank Congressman Nick Joe Rahal for his donation of the flag today, which flew proudly over our nation's capital. In addition, our thanks goes to Kevin Tierney for his installation of the flagpole. I want to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Robert Mays. He is a friend of our St. Joseph community and a member of our parish. And I'd also like to thank a happy birthday to Mr. Marty.
Thank you, Nikki. Today's a special day at St. Joe. We're going to be dedicating a flagpole on the eve of Veterans Day. I can't think of a better day to do this, and I'm so glad to see all of you out here to attend and to honor our nation and the flag and what it stands for here today. I would like to start today's ceremony by having our color guard come forward. All 4 color guard members are members of the St. Joseph student body: Patrick Washington, Zach Doherty, Quentin Mays, and Michael Mays. All hold a special place in my heart because I am their scout, one of their scoutmasters in Boy Scout Troop 12 here in Huntington. So please come forward and post the colors.
Stand, please.
Please remove all headgear and join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing while we sing the national anthem. St.Joe Music Ministry for leading us in the national anthem. I would like now to call forward Mr. Scotty Russell with the Woodmen of the World to say a few words.
Distinguished guests, honored faculty, respected veterans, and cherished alumni, we thank you for allowing us to be part of this historic ceremony. Woodmen of the World was founded in 1890 with a simple dual mission: to protect America's families from financial hardship and to provide opportunities to help others in the communities we serve. The patriotic ideals we uphold are timeless. In 2009 alone, Woodmen presented nearly 20,000 American Patriot handbooks to schools, libraries, and newly naturalized citizens, and over 75,000 flags to local nonprofit groups. As one of the nation's largest presenter of flags, Woodmen of the World believes that Stars and Stripes Forever isn't just a song title, it's part of our mission. With this spirit in mind, we are proud to present this flag and dedicate this flagpole to the St. Joseph Central Catholic High School. You see, people all across America are telling us that we are at a crossroads, that our freedoms and our values are at stake. But they're also telling us that the solution is to empower more young people like you to take action for yourself, for your family, and for your future. We are humbled to be part of this community. We are honored to be involved in this ceremony, and we are proud to be associated with young people who understand the importance of this flag and what it has always represented: freedom, liberty, and justice. God bless each and every one who is here today, and may this flag forever fly as a reminder of who we are as a people and as a nation. On behalf of Woodmen of the World, we say thank you.
Thank you, Scotty, and thank you to the Women of the World for sponsoring today's event and making this all possible. I would next like to call Mr. Mike Muth to the stand to say a few words. He is an alumni of the class of 1958.
It's a great day to be here and to honor our veterans. And as was said, I'm a graduate of St. Joseph's High School in the class of 1958. And one of the members of our class is one of the ones who has served us honorably and who we're going to recognize today. His name is Bob Connell, and I just wanted to say a few brief things about Bob. I've known Bob ever since grade school days. We stayed in touch up until his untimely passing earlier this year. Bob was a wonderful husband to his wife Jenny and their daughter Carrie. Bob was a wonderful alumni who kept in touch all these years with the members of our class, and without his hard work and dedication, we would probably not been as close as a group as we have been over all these years. So certainly we appreciate his effort, and we're going to miss him for that. At this time, I would like to introduce Bob's wife, Jenny Connell, to say a few words, and it's with great honor that I do that. So without further ado, here's Jenny Connell to say a few words.
Thank you, Mike, and greetings to all of you, especially the students of St. Joe. Bob's 21-year career in the Air Force was one of the most fulfilling and rewarding times in his life. He served as an aircraft maintenance staff officer for 10 years in locations from Vietnam, Germany, England, and the States. He then pursued a master's degree in Air Force logistics, which supported worldwide depot-level repair and modification programs. His most challenging assignment was that of Field Maintenance Squadron Commander, where he was in charge of 250 personnel and 150 fighter aircraft. After retiring, Bob continued to work in the logistics management for government contracting companies. Bob always wore his uniform proudly. He had great respect for the flag and what it symbolizes, and so it flew in front of our house every day. Thus, I know he would appreciate this dedication today. If Bob were here today, I think he would want to share with you students some thoughts, maybe even advice. The first is to take your studies seriously and do your very best to acquire the skills presented. Bob valued his education here at St. Joe's, and he credited his writing and organizational skills learned here for his success in life. Whether it was writing reports, preparing briefings, summarizing evaluations, or composing for pleasure, these were critical skills that helped promote him through the ranks from first lieutenant to lieutenant colonel. And the second thought would be to maintain your friendships that you've made here at St. Joe's when you leave. The best and most faithful friends that Bob ever made were his St. Joe classmates. Despite leaving Huntington and living in other parts of the world, from Europe to stateside assignments, he continued to stay in touch. He enjoyed many reunions that provided lots of time to reminisce, talk politics, and religion. They especially like to reminisce about winning the state championship. Finally, Bob would encourage you to be true to your faith. Belief in the teachings of Christ and God's desire for us to be one with him gave Bob direction throughout his life, and especially peace as he faced his final challenge, which was meeting the Lord face to face. So I want to thank you, especially Miss Skaggs and Miss Sawyers, for honoring Bob and for taking this time to honor all veterans, and to you students for your attention and your interest. So thank you so much, and good luck to all of you.
Thank you, Mrs. Connell. Next, I would like to call Mr. Tristan Boncourt. Mr. Bond is a member of the St. Joseph High School faculty and a Marine veteran. He graduated from Marshall University in 2005 with a bachelor's degree in biology, and again in 2007 with a master's degree in biology. Mr. Bond joined the Marine Corps Reserve in May of 2004 and served through May of 2010, including a tour of duty in Haditha, Iraq. This is Mr. Bond's second year as a science teacher at St. Joe. Welcome to Mr. Bond.
We have, I've just recently become aware of a very extraordinary history of military service and sacrifice here at St. Joe's. As I was looking into some things the last couple of weeks, I was kind of blown away by our history of service, and there's three gentlemen in particular that I want to share with you today. We need to remember their names and be proud of them. We have at least three, possibly more, but three that I know of that gave their life in combat during three different wars over the last 70 years. So I want to share with you their names. Most recently, in Desert Storm, we had Chief Warrant Officer John W. Garrett, Jr., who was a graduate of St. Joe in 1979, who gave his life as a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. Previously in the Vietnam War, we had Sergeant Kenny Atkins from the class of 1967, who gave his life in combat. And each year at graduation, we present a student with the Kenny Atkins Award in memory of him. And then before that, we have here at St. Joe's a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, Robert Femoyer from the class of 1939. And I'd like to read you a little bit of information about that. He received the highest military award possible. On November 2nd, 1944, as a navigator on a bombing mission over Germany, he was wounded by enemy aircraft fire, which seriously damaged his B-17 bomber. In spite of extreme pain and great loss of blood, he refused any medical attention in order to keep his mental faculties clear. For 2.5 hours, he guided the lone bomber through 6 changes in direction around enemy aircraft fire. While bleeding steadily, he worked with amazing clarity despite the pain. As the crippled aircraft crossed safely over the English Channel on its flight home, Second Lieutenant Robert Vermoyer finally allowed an injection of morphine. 30 minutes after landing, he died of blood loss. Vermoyer was serving with the 711th Bombing Squadron in the Army Air Forces. For his actions during this mission, he was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And his official citation reads as follows: for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in the risk of life above and beyond the call of duty near Merseburg, Germany on November 2nd, 1944. While on a mission, the bomber, of which Second Lieutenant Vermoyer was the navigator, was struck by 3 enemy anti-aircraft shells. The plane suffered serious damage, and Second Lieutenant Vermoyer was seriously wounded in the side and back by shell fragments which penetrated his body. In spite of extreme pain and great loss of blood, he refused an offer of medical attention. He was determined to keep his mental faculties clear in order that he might direct his plane out of danger and so save his comrades. Not being able to rise from the floor, he asked to be propped up in order to enable him to see his charts and instruments. He successfully directed the navigation of his lone bomber for 2.5 hours so well that it avoided further enemy attack and returned home safely without further damage. Only when the plane arrived in the safe area over the English Channel did he feel that he's accomplished his objective. Then and only then he permitted an injection of morphine. He died shortly after being removed from the plane. The heroism and self-sacrifice of Second Lieutenant Vermoyer are in keeping with the highest traditions of the U.S. Army. So these 3 men, Robert Vermoyer, Kenny Atkins, and John Garrett Jr., all graduated here at St. Joe's. They all died in combat in 3 different wars, walked in the same hallways, sat in the same room that all of you all did. So we need to remember their names. Mr. Vermoyer, I read, was one of 7 Eagle Scouts to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. So I just ask that we keep them fresh in our memory and be proud of them. Mr. Mays.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. I'd now like to ask Ms. Terry Booth to come forward. Ms. Booth is a representative from Congressman Nick Joe Rahall's office, who will read a letter prepared especially for today from Congressman Rahall.
Dear friends, thank you for the kind invitation to join you. A previous engagement I had could not prevent me from joining you in spirit as we honor our nation's veterans. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the veteran alumni who are here today and to acknowledge all the veterans who dedicated the original flagpole nearly 70 years ago. I also offer my special thanks to Monsignor Luciana, Principal Archer, and all the dedicated faculty, staff, and students of St. Joseph Central Catholic High School for hosting this dedication and rededication of your new flagpoles at the Veterans Monument. It is my honor and privilege to present you with this flag of our United States, which was proudly flown over our nation's capital. As Americans, we fundamentally appreciate the truth behind the inscription on the Korean War Memorial, "Freedom is not free," as so many have fought and died for that principle. It is because of our military service members, past and present, here among us and ever present in our hearts and minds, we live each day as free citizens of this great nation because they dedicated themselves to protecting and preserving our great American democracy. And we must never forget all who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. particularly on this special day of remembrance. The debt we owe to them is immeasurable. Their sacrifices of those of our military families are freedom's foundation. Without the brave efforts of all our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, National Guardsmen, reservists, and their families, our country would not live so freely. For more than 200 years, millions of Americans have answered the call to serve our nation at home and abroad, and West Virginians have long been among the first to report to duty. Our veterans are true American patriots. They may not consider themselves to be heroes, but America does. We owe them our gratitude, respect, and deep admiration. It is why I am proud of the accomplishments made by Congress to assist the nearly 53,000 veterans in the 3rd Congressional District and all veterans across these great United States. I am proud to say that I have committed to fight hard for all of our service members. Over the past few years, Congress has achieved unprecedented accomplishments for veterans and troops, including 3 years of pay raises, a new GI Bill to provide returning troops with the promise of a college education, a historic investment in veterans' health care. While we honor our veterans today, the best way we can honor them the rest of the year and in the coming years is to ensure that all veterans are able to fully take advantage of the care and services available from the Veterans Administration. That means they must register with the VA. It is important because the VA uses the number of enrolled veterans to make decisions on how to allocate federal funding for our VA medical centers, clinics, and other veterans programs. So I'll challenge everyone to tell a fellow veteran and to get them signed up with the VA so all of our veterans in southern West Virginia get the care and services they deserve. The sooner we have our veterans registered, the better. It's easy for veterans to register. Just 1, go to our VA hospital, 2, go to the local VA clinic, or 3, visit the VA rural health team and bring a photo ID and a DD-214 form. On the battlefield, the military pledges to leave no soldier left behind. As a nation, let it be our pledge that when they return home, we leave no veteran behind. This day and every day, let us honor their service with actions that fulfill our commitment to our troops, their families, and our veterans, and that are worthy of our grateful nation. I am deeply honored to represent you and all the citizens of southern West Virginia. A grateful nation thanks you, and I personally thank you for your service to America and your fellow West Virginians. With warm regards, I am sincerely Nick Rahal.
Thank you, Ms. Booth. Next, we will be lowering the flag from its staff. I would like to ask the color guard to come forward. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Tom Doherty leading our color guard. Tom is a retired colonel from the United States Air Force. After 21 years of service, he is a graduate of Crichton University and Crichton University of Medicine in Omaha, Nebraska. Tom was previously stationed in Texas, Ohio, Wisconsin, Mississippi, Washington, D.C., Germany, and England. Tom is currently employed at Marshall University School of Medicine and is medical director of St. Mary's Medical Center Department of Pathology. He has had 20 years of education devoted to Catholicism, elementary school, high school, college, and medical school. Tom has been married for 27 years to his wife Carla and has 4 children. The youngest is Zach, who is currently a junior at St. Joseph High School and a member of our Color Honor Guard.
Please stand.
I'm honored to be here and I greatly appreciate this opportunity. We're going to do a flag folding ceremony. You can be seated, please. Before we start, I'd like to say just one brief comment. There are many veterans, obviously, but to give you an idea of how much has been given by these veterans, there have been 67 conflicts that the United States of America has been involved with. There have been over 850,000 people who have given their life in active duty combat. It doesn't include, there's a total of 1.5 million if you include other people who died during this conflict from disease, accidents, and so forth. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold of our flag is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing our ranks who gave a portion of life to the defense of our country to attain a peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature. For as American citizens, trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace as well as in times of war for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country. For in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for where our heart lies. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces. For it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all her enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day and to honor Mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to Father, for he too has given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold, in the eyes of the Hebrew citizen, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of Christians, citizens, represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son, and Holy Ghost. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God We Trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates into the armed forces of the United States, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today. Thank you.
I'd like to now call Mr. Rick Marty forward. Mr. Marty is a beloved faculty member of the St. Joseph community here. He has been a member of the high school faculty for over 30 years. Mr. Marty.
Thank you. Before I make some closing remarks, I would like to call on Mr. Mike Muth up here to make an announcement.
I just want to make a couple of final remarks. The class of 1958, with the passing of Bob Connell, has decided to set up a scholarship fund in his honor. The details of it are not all completely worked out since it's a brand new venture, but it will go toward helping students that have academic needs while they're attending St. Joseph's High School. And we invite all former alumni, all the alumni of St. Joe that are here or not here, to participate if they would care to enhance this scholarship so that it can be sustaining and help students for many years to come. Thank you.
When Mr. Bond talked about Robert Feemoyer, many of you have gone to the park over there and seen a monument that the classes of the 1940s and the class of 1939 dedicated to the veterans that served from our school and the forces of the United States. There's a special tribute to Robert Feemoyer on that monument. Over the years, that monument has fallen into disrepair, and by spring it's going to be returned to the proper state that it deserves. We'd like to thank everybody that made today's ceremony possible. And tomorrow, when we are out of school for Veterans Day, we need to remember that our freedom has been often sacrificed by those brave people who have given their life to ensure our freedom. Thank you all for coming, and enjoy tomorrow, and remember our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marty. I now ask the color guard to come forward and retire the collars. And as the colors are being retired, I would like everyone to please stand and sing God Bless America, led by our music ministry. That concludes our ceremony for today. I'd like to ask our guests to please join us in the library for a reception. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll try. My wife has a lot of time. Drag over.